Hey guys, this is Dragofish, and today I'm gonna do another video. And today I'm gonna actually start. Excuse me. Today I'm gonna start a new series. We're gonna make the new Redstone for Noobs series. So basically, I have noticed that a lot of people out there don't know their Redstone, and whenever I try to show them these cool creations, they become like really surprised and all. But the thing is, whenever they try to make their own creations, they just rage quit and don't even know what to do because they don't understand the basic ideas. So of course these are some cool machines here, but I'm not going to go over these. I'm going to go far away. I'm basically just going to go to this little patch of plain openness here. Let's just start off with how redstone works. So, redstone is a material that you can get very deep in the ground at about layer 4, like or the layers. Well, I just know they're really deep underground. And basically, redstone ore looks something like this. So this here is redstone. When you mine this with a pickaxe, you will get about just a couple, like 5 or so. So it's pretty useful. Of course, when you get it, it's kind of worthless, but you can sell it to villagers and other people for pretty good money. If you had what was it called? Fortune. If you had fortune, you would get a lot more redstone from it. And that's especially useful for those people who need lots of redstone. But let's just skip past the basics of how to get redstone and what it is. Redstone is a machine. Redstone is a mechanical thing you can use to basically get all of your machines to work in Minecraft. Of course, you can use it to make dispensers and other cool things like pistons, but we'll get that later. So the basics about redstone. Redstone, from its original source, will travel a total of 15 blocks, as shown here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is 15 blocks. After that, as you can see here, it no longer powers anything. So of course, let me just demonstrate here. This does not get powered. However, this will get powered. So there's that basic. Now, in order to expand the circuit to make it go further, you will have to use a repeater. Once you use a repeater, you can basically make it go further. That's not all. Let's see here. Let me just like reset this entire thing here. So, basically with this, I'm going to replace this torch with a lever. Buttons will cause a pulse, like basically like this. You see the redstone there? Buttons will create a pulse. Levers will make a continuous circuit, which you can turn things on or off. And this thing's just to open it temporarily. So, I'm going to place a lever here, and repeaters, if you place them all on the line, you can actually change their options here. They have 4 different ticks. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So with this here, if I turn this on, you'll see that they go in an order. The longer the tick, the longer the delay. So basically, if you can use these to basically time your redstone for more complicated machines. Like shown here, they're all on maximum tick, and it goes a lot slower now. Of course, that is very useful and very helpful in lots of your other machines. Now we're just gonna go over some other things here. Well, let's just, before we move on to more complex redstone, let's just go over what pistons are. So I'm gonna use the same lever here. This is a piston. You activate it and it pushes blocks. You can put a block here and it will push it. Sticky pistons are the same thing. They will push like so, but they will also pull blocks. If you have a block here, you can extend it and it will pull it like so. So that is a very helpful tip to know. Now, a piston, as shown here, will only push a total of 12 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Seems kind of long, right? So, of course, let's see if it works. Pushes 12 blocks. Put a 13th block, and as you can see, it will not work at all. It can only push 12 blocks total. Another cool thing to note is that pistons, as shown here, can push other pistons. So, if you have your lever, like so, you can push a piston, and you can make that other piston extend out. Like this. See, this piston works here, then this piston here works. Now, we have this here. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing your redstone is that, let's say you have a bunch of redstone for your machine, and it involves water. Redstone is not waterproof. All of your redstone will be completely destroyed. So you want to be careful about that. It's also not lava proof, so be aware of that. You might want to test out your redstone creations on a creative world before you move on to survival. And that's about that. Now let's move on to other things here. Note blocks here. Note blocks are basically a simple thing. Based on the material that is underneath, they will make a different sound. I will make a completely different video on what those sounds are, or as far as my understanding is of those sounds. So far, I've only discovered 5. Here is a dispenser and a dropper. The difference is that if you have an item that you can shoot, basically, like an arrow. Let's see, let's put a single arrow in here. Let's get another arrow and let's put it in here. When these are activated, a dispenser will shoot them out, while a dropper will just drop the item. So that's pretty useful for giving you your stuff. Everyone knows what TNT is. TNT basically is just a device that when you place it down and when it is powered by fire or redstone, it will basically blow up everything around it. Now let's go into some more detailed physics of redstone. So, let's just go to a simple circuit here. See, redstone, like so, can travel into blocks if it is directed towards a block. You can make redstone go into a variety of different directions. And you can also make them go up and down. But however, they will not travel if they have a block above it. There are a few ways in which you can kind of solve this problem. One, you can replace that block with a half slab, and that will allow it to go through. Or you can use carpet or any other material. Now then, you have this redstone here. The redstone powers the block. Anything that is next to this will be powered, no matter where it is, even on top or below it. However, you cannot have redstone coming out the sides. So let's say you have a machine with all of these and you need something to go through. If you use a repeater, you can basically solve this problem. Okay, sorry for the interruption, I just had to clear up some space. But now, let me just hop on in here. So, now let me just continue from what I just explained. So here you have a redstone that's going through, and it's powering this block, which will power anything next to it, no matter where it is. The way to solve something if you're making a machine and you want the redstone to go through this block, all you have to do is place a repeater coming out of that block. That is very useful. It will come out from any direction. And if you make a repeater go into that block, it will also power redstone going around it. So that's a helpful tip to know. Another thing is that if you have a block here, redstone will also power blocks that they're on top of, as seen here. See, let's pretend this redstone was powered. It would power this piston and everything around it. So now, we're just gonna extend this here. You have redstone like this, and you basically place a repeater here, and it will continue to power it, which is something that's really, really cool. Now, let's say you need like redstone that kind of inverts itself. So let's say this one's on, but you want it to turn off somehow. You place a block here, and you have your redstone torch. It will turn off, and any redstone coming out of it will be off. And of course, when you unpower this redstone, it will turn on. So that's a good way to invert your redstone. So that's pretty cool. If a redstone torch will basically power anything that is on top of it. So using this, you can basically make a type of ladder that goes like this, as shown here. It will depower that one, and in turn, this one does not power this block right here, which powers this one. So basically, when we flick this, it basically inverts the whole thing all the way up, which is pretty useful. Of course, there are lots of other concepts in here. Let's just go take a look at this other thing here. So of course, if we have something like this, we're gonna go look at this. If you use half slabs properly, you can make a staircase like this. It will basically allow redstone to go up. However, that same redstone will probably not go back down. So let me just power this. You see, it goes up, but from the top, it doesn't go down. So that's good to know. It's a good way to make redstone circuits that only work in one direction. Now then, let's see here. What's next on our list? Well, I'm basically covering a lot here with the redstone physics and all. What else do I need to cover? Well, something that's really, really underused. Here is a repeater with a redstone signal going through it. Now then, here is a repeater going into a repeater with a redstone signal going through. You're gonna ask, what is this? It works the same way? What happened if I turn this off? What this repeater does, it locks this repeater and the redstone signal is locked in place, which is somewhat helpful to some redstoners to understand the concept, but from what I understand right now, absolutely no one uses it because they have no idea what this is. So this is very helpful. And of course it works the same way. Hold on. So you see here, you power it, nothing goes through. So that's something really helpful to know. If you need a machine that works from the day and night cycle, you can use this item here called the daylight sensor. Now the daylight sensor, whenever it's daytime, it will make a redstone signal. Or you can do this, and whenever it's nighttime, it will also make a redstone signal. And of course it uses the day and night cycle, which can be used to make a clock and whatever. I will show you guys how to make a clock in a future episode, but if you guys want to, you'll have to ask me for that if you want me to make a tutorial on that. Redstone blocks are exactly the same as redstone torches, except that redstone torches can turn off if they have a redstone signal being put into their block. Redstone blocks cannot be turned off whatsoever, so that's something cool to mess around with, and they can also be pushed by pistons, which is also very helpful. Now then, what other things do I need to go over? Well, here's something cool. This is a wooden pressure plate, and this is a stone pressure plate. You drop an item on a wooden pressure plate, it activates. You walk on it, it activates. Stone pressure plates, you drop an item on it, nothing happens. If you walk on it, then of course it will activate. So that's something that's pretty helpful for your machines as well. And of course, there's so many different things to look at here. I'm probably not going to be able to cover it all in one video, but probably in the next video I'll cover the more advanced redstone circuits, which are very, very cool, including repeating devices and other cool things like pulse emitters and stuff. So I guess that was it for today's video. I hope this was extremely helpful to all you guys who really want to learn redstone, and I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Good night.